Hi, this is Scott Garibay. Today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we're specifically going to talk about Fizban from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and why Fizban is strong proof that in the quarter-mile race between all of the Dungeons & Dragons editions, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is truly the best. It has really left all the other editions behind significantly. And we really are living our best Dungeons & Dragons life right now with 5th edition, which has, as a great man once said, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. And in the quarter mile race that is, the edition competitions in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, it's turbocharged, it's got sticky tires, and it is way off the line before the other editions are even moving, okay? So let's get into this. All right, so Fizban is really important from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. I just got my Fizban Treasury of Dragons from my FLGS, and, I'm always saying it. Dungeons & Dragons isn't a game, it's a life path. Life has been challenging lately. I'm struggling with contentment. I have an incredible amount of blessings in my life, but I really struggle with contentment right now. The 2020 March event that has changed the world, it just has me worried and tense, and I'm just not the same Scott Garibay I was, right? And so one of the things is I'm not able to recognize joy in my life as strongly as I previously did, right? But there are a few things that bring joy into my life. My beautiful wife, I'm so fortunate to have my beautiful wife. I have 4 wonderful kids. They all bring joy into my life. But one of the things that, outside of my family, I think we all expect joy to come from our family. I don't want to take that for granted, but I'm like, yeah, of course, that's going to bring me joy. God above, all those things. But I'm always looking like, what in this world brings me joy, beyond my family? Are there things, can I take, joy from seeing a beautiful sunset, or from seeing the leaves turn, right? But one of the things that has become a rhythm of joy to me is every single Dungeons & Dragons book. Like, I've reached a point, I don't need to worry about it. I realized, I used to be like, now, actually, there is a question. I can't go back and get all 28 books for Dungeons & Dragons, even though I'm not that rich. Like, because that'd be a couple grand, right? And I'm not, like, going to my wife, so I need a couple grand to go back buy every 5e book. But I realized, hey, every time a new Dungeons & Dragons book comes, I have reached a point in my life where I can go to the FLGS, plop down $50, $18 more than I could get it, $18 to $25 more than I could get it on Amazon, and support my FLGS and get something that I know is going to bring me joy, right? And I'm just thrilled. It's like a really nice part of my life. So I got my Fizban's book, right? And I open it up, and there's Fizban. He's on like page 1, literally. Like, there's a picture of a white male, thin, old wizard with a yellow parakeet, right? And the parakeet is used delightfully through the book, right? It's his companion, right? And I just am so excited about this, right? So the Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, the Treasury of Dragons is a guide to dragons for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, right? That's bog standard. We've seen, books are like, here's everything about this topic, right? And I own the Orange Spine Easley's Wilderness Guide and Dungeons Guide, and they are horrible. Like, they're just like, here's a info dump from National Geographic. Like, they're bad. They're just bad, right? And they're black and white, right? And, like, the art's crap. It's, like, comparatively, right? Like, D&D 5th edition is just better, right? So this Fizban, right, he's in here, right? And I get to see who he is immediately. But I was like, where's the block that tells me who Fizban is? There's none, right? They show you Fizban, and then he comments throughout the book. And there's no better way to learn these Dungeons & Dragons characters than them talking to you for an entire book. And now we have these emerging true heroes of Dungeons & Dragons lore, right? Mordenkainen, Tasha, Xanathar, Fizban, right? Volo Thamp Gidarm, right? And we're starting to learn about these people, right? I now know Mordenkainen has a blue hound that, like, hangs around with him. Fizban has a parakeet, right? Mordenkainen, heck to the hates demons. Like, he is a demon hater. Like, he just hates demons and, like, talks a lot about, here's how you slay demons, here's where all the demons are. I hate these dudes. We should really slay all the demons. And you're like, boy, he's got a lot of hate for demons, right? Like, and Mordenkainen's tone of foes. This whole thing is just like filled with demons, right? I'm like, do we need to know this much about demons? But like, that's Mordenkainen's thing. Like, he's like, I go into the nether realms and I just slay demons, and I'm always looking for a better way to get demons slayed, right? And like, that's his thing. And we're learning about Mordenkainen. And he's also, hey, I'm a super dope high level wizard, right? And this is what Arcana is. And you learn it through his speech. Tasha's like, hey, I'm another cool caster, and I'm a chick, right? Like, not everybody who's a super awesome hero in Dungeons & Dragons is male. Like, we come in all flavors, right? Like, male and female, and like, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like female DMs, when they pick up, the book, there's some representation for them. That's awesome, right? And Fizban, is another character where we're getting to the point where we are seeing, hey, this is who Dungeons & Dragons high-level, powerful, charismatic, intelligent, confident, non-player characters are, right? This is what a true Dungeons & Dragons hero is. Oh, and they're all good aligned. That's a statement, too. Like, it's really, really powerful. Oh, except Xanathar. I forgot about that. He is evil aligned, yeah. So even that, like, even the villains are getting to talk, right? It's just this wonderful thing. And it did not exist at the level that we saw prior to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, right? There actually were guides that were written from, a character's perspective in older editions. And the reason why it's so much more important in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is it's done just so much better. All those older editions, they're like, hey, here's a 128-page book, and it's all black and white, and it's got stuff that looks like it went through the ink phase on a comic book, on a comic book creation, and somebody forgot to color it in, right? Like, and so the reality is, and the other issue is, like, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, more than any other version, is not just dealing with the game. They are very, very directly dealing with real questions of our culture in real time in the books. Candlekeep Mystery was like, hey, we're going to deal with accessibility, we're going to deal with preference, we're going to deal with gender, right? And the old versions just didn't do it, right? Like, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is leaving every single older edition behind it, right? In the dust. It's leaving them in the dust. And right, and so Dungeons & Dragons the 5th edition is the place to be, right? If you want current, high-quality, full-color art books, if you want your Dungeons & Dragons to reflect cool mechanical aspects that you can use to do narrative story, but if you also want it to be engaging with the real questions that our culture is struggling with today, it's all there. And I'm so happy that Dungeons & Dragons is like, we need Dungeons & Dragons is famous, right? Are any of the Dungeons & Dragons setting famous? Probably not. Probably most Americans do know about Dungeons & Dragons, but they don't know about Faerun, and they certainly don't know about Dark Sun, right? And they certainly don't know about Greyhawk, right? So none of the settings are famous. And then also, if you said, hey, who's a Dungeons & Dragons hero to the average American? They couldn't name anybody, right? So what they're doing is now, within the community itself, they're saying, we will put a stake in the ground. We're going to make it so that everybody gets to know who lives in the Dungeons & Dragons world, who are its greatest heroes, who are its movers and its shakers on the good and on the evil side, right? And I love this idea of, ex-D&D heroes, very cool, interaction with you through the book. And I'm super excited to see that Volo, Tasha, Mordenkainen, Xanathar, and now Fizban are growing in fame, growing and just being better. It's very exciting. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.